Hi, beloved ones, blessings. Thank you for being here. So today I want to bring to you a very special reading for the 777 portal that is happening on July 7th, 2023. Now, I am recording this a few days in advance, but I have already been tapping into this very powerful energy. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you receive this message is exactly when it's right for you. I will just simply be harnessing the energies that are coming through the 777 portal to channel a singular message from the Kantigi Oracle for you. So there are going to be 7 options, 7 of these cards. I'm just going to intuitively pull the cards, and then I'm going to read from the Oracle book. So how can you take this reading? So you could intuitively pick one option from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. You could take all of them as messages and then, take within that what golden nuggets resonate with you. Or you could work with each message over a period of 7 days to really dive deep into what this 777 portal is bringing. So before I go into pulling the cards and reading these beautiful messages for you, I want to talk a little bit about the 777 portal. So 777, 7 is July, 7 is the day, and 7 is the year. How do I get that? 2023 adds up to a 7. So we have 3 sevens there. Now, 7 is the number of creation. Okay, it is also the number of ascension, of involution, of moving towards a higher consciousness, a higher state of being, the next level, so to speak. There's 7 days of the week. There's, oh my gosh. And in the creation stories, the earth was created in 7 days, so to speak. Okay. Now, 777, if you add the 3 sevens, it brings to a total of 21. 21 breaks down to a 3, and we have 3 sevens. So we see the repeating 3s there. So I talk about how 7 is the number of creation and ascension. 3 is the number of formation. Okay, so when you have 7s and 3s together in this form, you get a pathway of creation, deconstruction, and rebirth. Okay, now the 3s are symbolizing mind, heart, and body, and the parallels of mind, heart, body is mind to thought, heart to feeling, body to action. Okay, so how do we get to the action? Well, we have our thoughts, right? But how do we know which thoughts are in alignment with our highest and best good? That is when we tap into our feeling. We tap into the yes, the full body yes. So to tap into your full body yes, I'm going to invite you to take a breath in, inhale, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Good. Now, as you're seated here in the stillness of breath, I want you to bring to mind a super, super hot day. Like it's just really hot, it's sticky, the humidity levels might be rising, and you're just extremely uncomfortable. And you're just sitting there on the couch, kind of melting, can't really move because it's just so unbearably hot. And then as you're sitting there on the couch, your phone goes ding, and you look at your phone, and there is a message from your friend inviting you to the most perfect way to get out of the heat. This could be swimming in the pool. This could be having ice cream. This could be, going to the movies and being in an ice cold theater, whatever it is, right? That just brings you back to life. You're like, yes, that is what I want. That is exactly what I needed. Feel that feeling in your body. Feel that full body yes within you. Feel it. Just fill every cell, every fiber of your being, every muscle, every organ, every tissue, every bone, okay? Every cell in your body is filled with this full body yes. That is the full body yes that you want to tap into when you are thinking about any actions you want to take. It doesn't matter whether you're scared, whether you don't know how it's going to happen or what. The point is that you want to feel that full body yes in that decision that you're about to make, right? Because everything else will align effortlessly, because the universe is going to meet you where your heart's full body yes is. So it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to not know. It's okay to have doubt. It's okay to be unsure of what's going on and how it's going to happen. But the most important first step is to get to that full body yes, right? That full body yes that just brings you to life. So we start with that full body yes, and then the thoughts carry us of like, okay, I need to get dressed. I need to pack a snack pack. I need to, get my swimsuit. I need to, whatever you need to get sunblock, whatever it is you need to do. That's when the thoughts come in and help you, refine the steps you need to take when you go into action, and then the action happens, right? And we can only control what we can do, what we can think, what we can say, right? So focus on that. Focus on what you can do, focus on what you can feel, focus on what you have control control over, and let go of everything else and trust that you will be met because you are operating from your full body yes. Now, when I was meditating this week, as I mentioned at the beginning of this reading, I've been feeling this energy of 777 very intensely. My last reading that I did for y'all, I did a Capricorn full moon messages. I talked about a group that I just opened on Facebook, the Thriving HSP Portal. And I go live on Mondays, every live. And on Monday, before I went live, I was meditating on my work week and the day. And I was guided to do a sovereignty codes activation channeling on the group on Friday. So I have an event in the group, the Thriving HSP Portal, on Friday at 7 a.m. Where I will be showing up and live and sharing with you a shamanic guided quantum healing journey of your higher heart and sexual energy. And then once we have done some clearing and cleaning and decluttering of those internal spaces, I will be channeling a DNA light body recalibration activation, and then awakening the sovereignty codes that are already there within you, within your DNA. And that is the big blessing that wants to come through on the 777 portal at 7 a.m. It is donation based, so everyone is welcome to join. If you have something to donate, the energy exchange is greatly appreciated. So I will put the link for that event page in the description box below this reading so that you can join me either live or catch the replay as is best in flow for you. So there's that happening. And then in addition to that, yesterday, because what's today, Wednesday? Yeah, yesterday when I was meditating, this reading came through. And specifically, this deck asked to come through the Kantigi Oracle. This is an amazing deck. You can see it's a super thick, heavy book. I won't go into the deck, but basically the deck, it taps into the energy of the earth and uses the earth's cycles and systems and ecosystems. There's 52 cards in this deck, 52 cards for 52 weeks of the year. So it's a deck that can be worked with for an entire solar cycle. I haven't done that yet because I just got this deck a few months ago, but I will be doing that at some point. I know I will. But this deck came out because it is very closely tied into the cycles and the seasons of the earth. And the 777 portal, the 7 adds up to 21. 21 is the number of major completions, major endings. In the tarot, it is the world card, so I'm feeling that, the changes that are happening, the big changes, the 7-7 portal is bringing a big, massive change into the lives of everyone in some form or another. This energy is going to be felt by every single person across the world, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. There's going to be deep, deep change that happens either anywhere from the subconscious quantum level to the conscious, waking awareness level to the super conscious level, all of the above, anywhere in between, so even if someone is not ready or able or, at that place where they can acknowledge that, they're going to feel it, and they're going to eventually see the ripple effects of these over the next few weeks. Right? That's how intense these energies are. They're so intense that the changes are going to show itself in the physical waking world within a few weeks. Okay. So that's why I was guided to use the Cantigue Oracle, because the Cantigue Oracle just ties into, the number of 21, the number of 3. 3 is creation. 3 is the feminine energy. 3 is about birth, formation, the first structure, so to speak. So that is what I have to share about the 777 portal. Very exciting, very powerful. We just had this Capricorn full moon. I did a reading of it, and the Capricorn full moon was definitely bringing that energy of internal restructuring. We're going to be in this energy for at least a couple more weeks until the next full moon. So if it calls you, I invite you to go check that reading out. I did do, pull cards for all 13 signs. You can take the 5th sign as a bonus reading, because this 7-7 energy is really like a culmination, so to speak, of everything that has happened since Mercury went direct through this full moon. Okay, because we're going to start going into the pre-shadow energy of our next Mercury retrograde next month. Okay, or at the end of this month. So, okay. Now that I've talked your ear off about the 777 portal, because it is a big energy, it's very exciting. I'm very excited for this energy, as a light worker, as a grid worker. I just finished a 7-year contract here in the Pacific Northwest, anchoring light codes, praying and reawakening the land. So, I'm feeling like this is also a big ending for me in terms of the soul contract that I just finished a few weeks ago. And I'm not alone. Many other light workers and grid workers that I've been talking to have either just completed big major contracts or are entering new contracts. So, this 7-7 portal is a really big deal. We're not going to see one of these. Well, we're not going to see one of these in our lifetime again. Let's just say it that way, because we're not going to have another 7-year, in a long hot minute. Okay, I haven't done the math, so I don't know when, but if one of you, has that genius within you to just, think about it, I would love to know. I'm sure I'll do the math eventually at some point, but I've just been very extra tired this week. I think I slept for a total of like 16 hours yesterday. So now that I have a little bit of strength, I'm here to do this reading for you. So let's get into it. All right. So we have 7 options. Again, you can take one of the 7, you can take all of the 7, or you can work with one card. You can work with each message for a period of 7 days. I am Drasmin. This is Dragom Oracle. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers. Thank you for those who have been liking, commenting, sharing my messages. I so deeply appreciate you. I appreciate hearing from you. And if these messages resonate with you, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, share. All of your engagement greatly supports me, as well as the expansion of my channel, as well as hones in the energy of the collective that I'm reading for. So basically, the more you engage, the more quote unquote specific the messages become. Okay. All right. Righty. Let's see. So 7 cards. All right. I'm going to pull these out and then I'm going to read them. Okay. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right. So those are the 7 messages. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right. So let's start with group 1. Number 1, primary nourishment. Number 4. 4 is the number of self-care. Okay. It's about your foundations, your structures, your routines, your habits. So let's look at what number 4 has to say. Okay. All right. Number 4. As winter settles in, a pregnant bear curls her hulk upon a mass of moss and dry leaves. As winter trickles and blows outside her womb-like cave, she drifts in and out of reverie as a cub grows within her belly. The darkness of the cave grows luminous with kaleidoscope dreams of infinite milk. Milk forming within her, a genetic coil of the milk of her mother and her mother's mother, and on back through the ages. An infinite spiral of nourishment that emerges from some mysterious primal source. The keynote with this card is to take in simple, pure, life-affirming nourishment. Avoid giving into cravings for anything complex, rich, or intense. Ingest what supports your allovution. The symbolism of this card is that anything alive requires nourishment in order to continue living. And if you want to thrive and grow, then you need to take in the very best nourishment possible, such as clean air and breathing with thorough inhalations and exhalations, enough clean water throughout the day, unprocessed seasonal local food, taking in that which delights your senses and inspires your spirit, such as time in nature, literature, music, art, etc. Quality time with friends and loved ones, and rest, getting enough sleep at night and enough downtime during the day. The guidance with this archetype is to indicate that you will now benefit from assessing how well you're meeting your physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual nourishment needs. Sometimes we can feel an empty hunger that we fill with whatever is easiest for us to acquire, but this card indicates you need to imbibe deeply of a basic source of nourishment. Start with a few deep breaths and then assess what you truly need now with these questions. How is your breathing? How is your water intake? And how is your food intake? Are you taking in that which inspires you intellectually, aesthetically, and spiritually? Are you getting enough rejuvenating social time? Are you sleeping and relaxing enough? Once you know what you need, the next step is to ingest that nourishment in a present, receptive, and conscious way. With all of your senses open and your mind keenly and gratefully aware that you are receiving this much needed sustenance. Your practice is to choose one source of nourishment as a sacred activity for a day, a week, or longer. Each time you take that particular nourishment in, focus your mind on the process of receiving the substance and imagine it lighting up every cell in your body. For example, if you choose breathing, simply set aside a few minutes 3 times a day to focus only on breathing. Primary nourishment for group 1. All right. Now let's go to group 2. Number 36. Clouds pass, but the mountains remain. Number 36 has the number of 3, which is the feminine nourishment, feminine archetype energy of mind, heart, body meeting. 6 is the energy of the masculine and the feminine, the masculine mind, heart, body, the feminine mind, heart, body meeting. 3 and 6 brings 9. 9 is the number of self-mastery, self-awareness, knowing what is needed in terms of what nourishes your mind, heart, body, and spirit, both in the masculine and the feminine energies. So let's look at what number 36 has to say. This really hurts my hand to hold like this, so I'm just going to put it like this, okay? Number 36. Clouds pass, but the mountain remains. As you continue on your journey, you walk through many overcast days. The landscape you are traversing is wide and flat, broken only by low, scrubby, wind-swept trees. One day, as the sun reaches its zenith, the clouds begin to clear. As the sky opens, the horizon seems to expand almost infinitely, and a mountain is revealed in the distance. A few clouds linger around the distant summit, shifting and flitting around the crag as a still point. Even when the clouds entirely obscure the mountain, you feel its gravity and you aim your steps towards it like a beacon of solidity. The keynote with this message is to cultivate and maintain an awareness of both what is enduring and what is fleeting in your current situation. Let mental formations and thoughts come and go, yet tune in more keenly to the facts of your circumstance. The symbology with this card is that we all know clouds are ephemeral or fleeting, shape-shifting. Even in climates where clouds blanket the sky for months at a time, the vapor of which they are made is constantly moving, clearing out of one area of the sky and thickening in another. In contrast, mountains represent stillness, stability, longevity, and duration. Yet even mountains are subject to erosion and change. Change is constant, but the rate of change is variable. Okay, there's a huge message on guidance here, okay? The guidance with this archetype bids you to differentiate between what is passing and what is enduring. For now, give less attention to the ephemeral, specifically the ephemera of your mind, and more attention to the facts of your circumstances. First, tune into the concept of impermanence with curiosity and discernment. In your current circumstances, take note of what seems most fleeting, what is likely to be most enduring, and everything in between. If you are in the midst of difficulties, remembering impermanence is like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It may even help you to appreciate the tunnel, knowing that this time has its own specialness and magic to it, even if it is hard. If you are in the midst of joy, remembering impermanence can stimulate a more mindful cherishing of this time. This will serve you well once your circumstances have shifted, as they inevitably will. You may also interpret the mountain as the crystallized formations in which you find yourself in, whether this be your physical body or the societal, communal, relational, and physical structures of your inquiry. Physical structures are slower to change, so it's advantageous to apply attitudes of acceptance and patience towards your situation. There are the other crystallized formations that are not as solid, although they took time to build, and they too tend to be slow to change. These formations are your beliefs. The clouds then are your emotions and thoughts related to the circumstances. Like clouds, these emanations of the mind shift and change, come and go, appear one way and then another. Like clouds, sometimes they clear out entirely, and then you can see the mountain, which is the structure of your circumstance, clearly. When this card comes up for you, a useful approach is to let your thoughts and emotions arise and dissipate like clouds passing through the sky. Although thoughts and emotions tend to occupy the forefront of your mind, they actually arise and dissipate quickly if you witness them without indulging them. And only then your mind will quiet. Here's how: 3 steps. First, settle into your body and into the present moment by observing, lengthening, and smoothing out your breath. Number 2, once you feel settled, greet your emotions by their names. Hello, fear. Hello, seething. Hello, sad loss. Hi, inferiority. Hello, pride. Hello, longing. Then greet your thoughts by their names. Hello, judgment. Hello, planning. Hello, justification. Hello, I'm right and they're wrong. Hello, reiteration. Hello, conversation with the person who is not present right now. Hello, monologue. Once your heart feels clear and calmer, consider your beliefs in regard to the situation, the invisible mountains that nonetheless influence the weather of your circumstances. Without judging or questioning them, write them down as you notice them. What do you believe about yourself, your capabilities, and your limitations in this situation? What do you believe about any other individuals involved in your situation, including their capabilities and limitations? How do you believe others perceive you in this circumstance? Is there anything that you believe you deserve in the situation? When you are in a receptive mood, explore your beliefs in regards to the situation. What facts corroborate or match your beliefs about yourself and your circumstances? What facts call your beliefs about yourself and your circumstances into question? If any of your beliefs are about what others think, are you willing to let these beliefs go? The truth is that there is no way to get inside someone else's mind, and nothing good comes from trying to do so. So if you attend skillfully to your own mind and to the facts of your situation, you will naturally respond effectively to the people and circumstances around you. If your circumstance involves a close relationship, how might you effectively ask the other person what their beliefs are in the situation so you can better understand their perspective? Now that you have considered the facts, challenges, and resources at hand, what new and inspiring and liberating beliefs might you actively create? And having considered the facts, challenges, and resources at hand, what new inspiring and liberating beliefs might you actively craft and cultivate in your current situation? Remember that many of your beliefs are formed without your conscious choice, but you can also actively shape and choose your beliefs. This is the empowering way to redesign the landscape of your mind and therefore your life. Mountain ranges send nourishing rain clouds to fertile valleys and protect them, and they offer inspiration and perspective. Build new, beautiful mountains that nourish, protect, and inspire what is precious to you. Beautiful message number 2. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that was a lot. So I'm just going to let that sit there, and you can hit rewind and re-listen to that message and write down those questions. Okay, group 3. What do we have? A peach so ripe, number 39. Okay, so we have here the number 3, which is about nourishment, about self-care, about asking for and receiving support and love. This is also about sharing, resources. 9 is the number of self-mastery, knowing, when to give, when to receive, how to ask for help. 9 and 3 brings a 12. 12 is the number of the higher mind, higher perspective. Oh, that was close. The computer was letting me know I needed to plug it in. Whew. That's so good. It didn't die, or I would have had to start over. Okay, so 39, 12. So 12 is the number of the higher perspective, being able to see clearly where your energy is going, whether you're receiving and giving in equal proportion. Okay. So a peach so ripe, number 39. Long ago in the future, an old peach tree was given a year with the most perfectly dream-inducing frost, followed by deliciously long rains, and then a summer with sunshine so golden, so warm, and so thick, it spread like honey over its leaves and seeped deep into the tree's core. The old peach tree produced its finest fruit that year, and it delighted in a glowing and generous pride each time a bird, squirrel, or other creature partook of its glorious bounty. As the season wore on, each peach that ripened was eaten right on the branch, or plucked and carried off for savoring elsewhere, until one day only one peach remained. The nights lengthened and became chilly. The leaves of the peach tree hung downward and fell, some waxy and golden, some dry and earthy. Eventually, only the one peach and a smattering of brittle leaves remained on the otherwise bare tree. The old peach tree said to the peach, "Listen, friend, winter is coming, and I'm going to sleep soon. I cannot hold you much longer. If by the end of this day you are not eaten or plucked, I'll need to let you drop. But never fear, my child. The worms and insects will enjoy you just as much as any larger creature." The old ripe peach understood and observed its last day on the old tree with care. A bird landed near it, but did not eat the peach because its belly was already full of plums. A pair of squirrels careened and dashed about on the old peach tree, but they scurried down its trunk without eating the peach, too busy in their mutual chase to notice the old ripe peach. Because this is a fairy tale, we must have a third contender for this old peach. And so, as the sun was low in the horizon, a person lost in thought came wandering towards the old peach tree. Sprawling shadows wrapped the earth like dark ribbons reaching towards night. The person's gaze seemed to be on something far away in the land of not here and now. The old, ripe, fuzzy peach eyed this person with curiosity. Would they notice the old peach muffled in shadow? And if they did, would they be hungry and interested enough to pluck it? Slowly, the person drew nearer as the fiery hues of sunset painted the landscape violet and slate. The person paused by the old peach tree and seemed to be looking in the general direction of the old ripe peach. The keynote with the card is the fullest potential has been reached. The moment just before the ripeness turns to rot. Use it or lose it, be it or leave it, recycle. The symbology for this card is that nothing is wasted in nature. Fruit that falls to the ground uneaten will feed small land-dwelling rodents, insects, or worms. Whatever is left uneaten will decompose and become rich nutrients that seep into the soil and then back up into the plant that originally produced the fruit. And if some creature happens to eat that fruit just before it falls, when it is at that moment of peak sweetness, they get to savor that uniquely mature ripeness when the flavors and juices pour out. This is like the sunset's glorious display of every color at once before the world dims into night. The guidance with this message is that sometimes it is wise to hang on to things. Sometimes it is good to store things for that moment when they will be needed. Sometimes it is good to keep an unfinished project in the wings, waiting for that golden moment when it's time to bring it out into the world into a glorious finale of completion. Sometimes it is good to develop something in private, refining and refining and refining it. But when you are drawn to this card, it is no longer time to hang on. Now is the time to either make use of that item or pass it on to someone who will make good use of it. Additionally, you can either bring this project to completion or scrap it once and for all, perhaps taking a moment to reflect first on what you learned and gained through your process with it. One further perspective of this archetype is that ambivalence is no longer an option. Like the peach, it is either time to pluck it and eat it or let it drop to the ground. Either commit more deeply to your current situation, relationship, or endeavor, or let it go. Use it or lose it. Be it or leave it. Beautiful, beautiful message. Yes, seeing the higher perspective. It's time to either commit or let it go. Beautiful. All right, so that was the reading for group 3. And now we go to number 4. Ooh, the coiled snake, number 29. So we have the number 2, which is the number of polarity, you know, opposites, yin yang, decisions, choices, and the number 9, which is about self-mastery. 9 and 2 bring 11. 11 is a gateway into a new chapter, a new beginning based on decisions made from greater self-awareness and self-understanding. Okay, so what decisions are you needing to make right now so that you can step into this new beginning, into a higher state of way of being, doing, thinking, acting, so on and so forth? Let's look at what the Oracle card has to say. Number 29, the coiled snake. Once you acclimatize to having been turned into a snake, you start to enjoy the feeling of your whole body being in direct communion with the earth. You luxuriate in the sensuousness of your movements and the sinuous power you feel in every cell of your serpentine self. To be a snake, you realize, is a profoundly tactile experience. You stretch yourself to your full length and feel as though you could encircle the earth. Your mind wanders in such Ophidian reveries until you hear twigs snap nearby. Immediately, your muscles contract you into a tight coil, directed by some ancient reptilian brain suddenly awakened within each cell of your being. Your tongue flicks about in cautious scenting, and you feel ready for anything. The keynote with this card is to consider whether your current situation calls for you to unfurl your full power, or whether this is a time to conserve your energy and reserve your strength for another time. The symbology for this card is that one of the key attributes of snakes is their length. Their lengthiness is useful in giving them power and agility, but it can also be a vulnerability. Snakes coil as a form of self-protection. Coiling keeps their head close to the rest of their long body so they can fight back easily if another animal tries to grab or attack them. The guidance here is that there are times when you benefit from being expansive and open, and there are times when it's better to keep your energy close. Rather than reading this archetype as a straightforward indication to batten down the hatches like the coiled snake, apply a more ended approach. Here are some questions to ask yourself. Do I generally tend to be more protective of myself, or do I tend to unfurl my power? 2, does my situation call for self-protection and conservation of energy, or for displaying and extending my full power? 3, do I use my power skillfully? 4, do I let my power unfurl in the right moments? 5, when I show and utilize my power, does it lead to positive results for myself and for others? 6, do I use my power in ways that cause harm to me and or to others? 7, do I protect myself skillfully? 8, do I protect myself in the right moments? 9, do I protect myself longer than is necessary? 10, if I am in a long-term unsafe situation in which it is rarely, if ever, safe to use my power or shift out of protection mode, is there a way I can get myself to safety, or is there someone who can help get me to safety? This archetype bids you to reassess how you work with the spectrum of protect and reveal. Snakes, which shed old, raggedy skins to reveal glowing, fresh scales beneath, are symbols of change and revelation. Your response to your family of origin most likely instilled certain patterns of behavior with regard to how you hide or show your power in various situations and relationships, but you are most likely in a different set of circumstances and relationships in this moment, so your power patterns need some updating. In your current circumstances, apply both ends of the spectrum with great discernment and intention. With close observation, you may well find that it would behoove you to be more protective of your energy in certain relationships or situations where you've been letting it flow freely. You may also find there may be some situations or relationships in which you've been keeping your power hidden, and that is now ripe for a shift into unfurl mode. As your circumstances evolve, the use of your energy also needs to evolve. Number 29, the coiled snake. That is the message for you, group 4. Okay, All right, group 5. Let's look at what message we have for you. Number 37, a fork in the river. Okay, we see again the number 3. The 3 is a very popular number in today's reading, which doesn't surprise me because it is a big number for the 777 portal. And look, we have 7, right? So we have both 3 and 7 coming up for you, group 5. So number 3 talks about nourishment, talks about, taking care of mind, heart, and body, talks about receiving, asking for help, sharing resources, making sure you're balanced. And then 7 is about movement, creation, ascension. 7 and 3 bring a 10, right? So there's a completion here and a new beginning that's simultaneously starting, because all endings are actually beginnings. All right, so 37, a fork in the road. Let's see what the Oracle book has to say for you right here. 37, a fork in the road. I'm going to have an easel next time to hold these cards up. This is really causing me a lot of pain. Okay, number 37. You are in a canoe paddling downstream. It is a gentle journey and it is a hard journey. It all depends on your perspective, which changes with each bend in the river and with the passage of time and distance. Your body travels with the flow of the river as your mind follows its own course. As you observe your journey along these 2 concurrent streams, they seem to merge into one flow, and you follow the river's course until it splits into 2 forks. There is no more simply continuing on. You are at a moment of choice. You do not know what either choice will lead to. One fork appears to lead to a lighter landscape and the other to a darker territory. This does not help you choose, though, as you remember, dark spaces leading you to treasure and bright spaces leading you to injury. Instead, you close your eyes and you head towards the tributary that inspires a feeling of soft strength in your joints and long smoothness in your breath. The key note with this card is a defining and fleeting moment of choice now stands before you. Trust your ability to handle whichever outcome you choose, rather than letting the surface appearance of the path before you sway your decision. Tune into how your body responds to each possibility. The symbology with this card is that when you travel by river through uncharted territory, you choose whether to go with or against the current, and then you carry on without further question until the river forks. Recognize that the river and the waters here symbolize the emotional currents, and then suddenly a choice must be made. If you knew nothing about the territory ahead, then it's impossible to know which of these 2 options will be easier or harder, more or less fulfilling. Yet if you pause to assess, there's really no way of knowing how things will go along one tributary or the other. You must simply choose and then respond as best as you can to come up to whatever comes up along your chosen path. The guidance with this archetype instructs you in dealing with moments of choice. If you are aware of what your choices are in your situation, the archetype offers support for choosing wisely. If you feel you do not have a choice in your current situation, the archetype indicates that you have a lot more freedom than you realize. In that case, you may wish to ask a supportive person in your life if they can see other options in your situation. In modern Western cultures, we are taught to think our decisions through. We are told to weigh pros and cons and to assess potential outcomes. Thinking and assessing involves sending your attention to things not only beyond you, but into the uncertain and unpredictable realm of the future. This archetype inspires a different approach. Rather than thinking about potential future outcomes, make your decision by staying firmly grounded in the present. Your body, your breath, and your feelings in all senses of the word are in the present. And each of these offer clues to you about what the best choice will be for you to make in the current situation. Essentially, the guidance of this archetype is stop thinking and start noticing, okay? Stop thinking and start noticing. Notice what your breath, your body, and your feelings are telling you about each of these options. Your feelings include your emotions, your gut instincts, and other sensations you may feel, such as warmth, coolness, tingling, electricity, pulsation, tension, relaxation, hardening, softening, etc. If you feel prickly and tense when you consider one option, but relaxed and open when you consider the other option, be a good friend to yourself. Like a good friend, trust what your body and your consciousness is telling you, and choose the option that promotes healthy feelings in your body and mind, even if you don't know what the answers might be or what the path ahead looks like for you. No matter what you choose, another critical piece of advice of this archetype is to trust yourself above all while you are making your decision, to trust in your wisdom, creativity, strength, and care to guide you through whatever unfolds along your path, your chosen path, and to trust also that you are never alone. The universe is infinitely creative, and it often presents you with unforeseen support that you could never have imagined. If you feel your body and breath vitalized by the option that from the perspective of a logic seems more risky, trust that there may be unknown treasure for you along that route. The biggest practice with this message is to practice choosing. Number 37. That is the message for you, group number 5. All right. Had to sip a little water there. Let's look at option number 6. What do we got? Number 20. Your heart in sync with cricket song. Okay, number 20. So 2 is about polarities. It's about decisions. It's about choices. It's about making judgment calls. And 0 is possibility, endless possibility. It represents the void. So it's like you are at this threshold of making choices, making decisions, making judgment calls, and stepping into a brand new possibility where, anything is possible. Okay, number 20. Your heart in sync with cricket's song. Your journey began long ago, and thus you have now walked a great distance. At times there were companions beside you, but you were each on your own journey. And so time and again, you parted with one after another. In this latest spell of traveling alone, you have become fascinated by the interlocking rhythms of the different pulses of your heartbeat, your breath, and your footsteps. You are so engrossed in this simple yet complex music that the days and miles pass quickly. One day you are so engrossed that you continue to walk past sunset and on into the evening. As you drift through a rolling field beneath a dark and sparkling new moon sky, captivated by your body's intertwining pulses, the music becomes even more beautiful and complex. The aperture of your awareness expands. You don't even notice your feet come to stillness as you listen to the beat of your heart, weaving with the diverse stridulations of crickets, near and far, quick and long. In a trance, you lie down right where you are, and as you look up, the twinkling of the stars above joins with the fabric of pulsations. You never before knew where you were traveling to, or if there even was a destination, but now you know with all certainty that you have at long last, arrived. The key note with this card is finding your place in this world, finding what, where, or whom you truly love, true resonance. The symbology with this card is that crickets' legs are covered with stiff, sonorous hairs, and thus they create audible rhythmic pulses by rubbing their legs together. Crickets in one area will entrain the rhythm, while crickets in another neighboring areas will enter and train their rhythms. Together, this creates an ever-shifting polyrhythm of variously paced pulses that interweave a familiar song beneath the infinite visual polyrhythm of twinkling stars. Meanwhile, your heart beats at its own pace. Imagine tuning into the pace of your heart, the blinking stars, and the various paces of a vast rolling field of crickets. Imagine your heartbeat weaving its steady strand into the shimmering fabric of this symphony of vibrations. The guidance of this archetype is a big yes, Y-E-S, all caps. It indicates experiences of attunement, arrival, resonance, and belonging. You may be drawn to this archetype as an affirmation that you are already experiencing these feelings. If that's the case, enjoy this moment and immerse yourself fully in it. Trust this feeling and let it guide you further into this experience. You have arrived. You have found your true place, your true path, a true love, the right community, and you are on the right track that supports you and that you can offer your best into. Enjoy feeling understood and appreciated for being just who and what you are. There are times when it's necessary to lean into experiences of friction and dissonance. But when you are drawn to this archetype, now is not one of those times. If you are currently experiencing tension and discord, let go of what you can in the situation. Most especially, redirect your attention away from emotions such as guilt, resentment, and blame, which tend to ensnare the mind in the discordant thing that is troubling it. Instead, attune to the rhythms in your body. Listen to your heartbeat. What is its pace and rhythm? What is the pace and rhythm of your breath? When you inhale, your heartbeat quickens. And when you exhale, your heartbeat slows. See if you can notice these interrelated shifts in pace and pulsation. Try some conscious walking. Tune into your body's collaboration with itself. Feel the shift in weight from one foot to another. Feel how each foot willingly gives and receives the weight of your body. Notice all the muscles in your belly, back, hips, and legs that work in concert to move you forward. Notice the harmony of your legs and arms, swinging forward and back, creating a harmonious balance of movement and progress. Notice how these practices create an independent sense of resonance without any shift in your outer circumstances. There are times when there is neither a feeling of resonance nor of dissonance, but simply a lack of connection. If you are drawn to this archetype when you are deeply longing for something that seems out of reach, such as a particular kind of relationship, a path, a community, a family, an artistic medium, or a place that feels like home, do the following. Number one, accept that you haven't yet found resonance in this area of life. Number two, remember that all things change, and therefore the situation cannot remain static. Trust that the circumstance will evolve. Number three, turn your attention towards any existing feelings of resonance. Even if you haven't found the one thing you are longing for, you may have a profound resonance in one or several other areas of your life. For example, many people who long for true love have excellent friends, a cozy home, or an ideal career. Lean into and enjoy these experiences. And number four, maintain a sense of unattached openness to resonance emerging in the area that feels lacking. Like a field of crickets, the song will begin when the temperature, the light, and the moment are just right. That is the message I have for you, group number 6. Okay, and now, last yet certainly not least, we have group 7 with card number 32, the self-tending fire. So we have, again, the number 3. The number 3 has showed up in 4 of these 7 messages, okay? So big energy of number 3. So number 3 is about nourishment, is about tending the mind, heart, body. It's about figuring out what nourishes you, where to asking for nourishment. 2 is about decisions and choices. 3 and 2 brings a 5. 5 is a number of pause, of reevaluation, of, discernment, of, feeling into whether there's enough giving and receiving, whether you're getting all your needs met, whether you need to make decisions and choices to remove certain aspects in your life or invite something new. Okay, so that's what this number 32 signifies. So let's look at what the Oracle has to say for you, group number 7. Number 32, the self-tending fire. You walk so far that your feet travel inward and away from all ephemeral shimmer, deep into a lightless void. As you reach the apex of darkness, you come upon a glow. You do not approach the light, and it does not come to you, yet you find yourself somehow within it. The fire illuminates but does not burn. It exists beyond the realms of fuel and air, beyond temperature and beyond need. This fire sparks a soft delight in your heart that permeates your body and radiates beyond you in all directions. The key note with this card is to be both the source and the recipient of your own energy. Direct all of your life force and attention now inwards instead of outwards. The symbology for this card is that fire clings. It requires fuel and air. It needs what is not of it to keep it alive. These aspects of fire mirror the nature of desire, craving what is outside of us in order to complete or satisfy us. The self-tending fire, however, is a part of us that is pure luminosity. It needs nothing beyond who and what we are in order to sustain or improve it. No fuel, which is objects of desire, no air, which is outer stimulus. The self-tending fire generates itself as pure, non-conditional contentment. Non-conditional contentment. This is a state of calm, quiet joy that illuminates our path and radiates out from us so that we become a beacon of light and a source of warmth that others are inspired by and drawn to. The guidance with this archetype is that when you are drawn to this card, turn your attention inward and stoke your inner light. If you are currently feeling strong desires for attention, experience, stimulation, or anything outside yourself, redirect your energy towards self-understanding. Consider the adage or the saying, where attention goes, energy flows. Pay attention to yourself now, your body, your breath, your thoughts, your emotions, and your intuitions. Be both the source and the recipient of your own energy and see how that shifts and illuminates the world around you. If you struggle with any form of addiction, this archetype can be a good support in breaking through. Addictions are not just to substances, but also to attention, stimulus, information, and can include any kind of compulsive behavior or desire. Use these techniques to shine light on your addictive patterns and the emotional needs they cover up. Number 1, when an urge to reach for something outside of yourself emerges, use the affirmation, I am complete. Write that down and repeat that to yourself as often as you need every day. Number 2, practice urge surfing. When an urge to engage in your addictive pattern emerges, see if you can ride the urge like a wave rather than being swallowed in the ocean of the addictive behavior. A good technique is to simply say, here's an urge, then see if you can rate the intensity of the urge on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is a little glimmer of longing and 10 is so intense that a saber-toothed tiger could not stop you from satisfying the urge. Move yourself into a different environment, outside, the bathroom, anywhere away from where you are currently standing. Take a few deep breaths and see if you can lower the number. 3, if you slip and engage in an addictive behavior, forgive yourself. Once you feel clear and calmer, take space. Make sure you feel safe and get into a relaxed place by focusing on your breath. Then review how you felt before you engaged with the addictive pattern. What were you feeling physically and emotionally? Urges usually come up when we feel pain, rejection, or an intense emotion. This is an opportunity for you to comfort yourself as you would a good friend. Make a commitment to cultivate the feelings that you most enjoyed, and then using the power of your consciousness, focus on more of that, and then notice how your life and longings shift. That is the message that I have for you, group 7. Okay, so those are all the messages I have for today's reading, the special reading for the 777 portal. Thank you so much for joining me. If you stayed for the entire reading, thank you so much for hanging out with me through this journey of exploration and discovery. All of these messages were really beautiful, really resonating with the 777 portal. And again, I am Drasmin. This is Drasmin Oracle. And as a gentle reminder, there's a live quantum healing sovereignty codes activation circle that I am hosting and guiding in my Facebook group on July 7th at 7 a.m. PST. And the link to that is in the description box below. Thank you again for being here. I send you so much love and blessings as you continue your journey of self-empowerment, self-awareness, self-actualization. And until we meet again,